3. If you happen to have seen, I've now started this live stream today twice over. The first time the camera was pointing the wrong direction. The second time I didn't have a mic on, so you probably couldn't hear me very well. So now all those things are set up. And this is why live classes feel scary to me, because I cannot always foresee every mistake I'm going to make, versus when I record them, I can edit all that nonsense out. So I apologize for such a delayed start to class. Anyway, hey friends, it is Kate here. Thanks for jumping on my channel and joining me for our class today. I've got a live class for us, and if you're in my Facebook group, you knew that I was going to do this today, and I even gave you the opportunity to pick what props we may or may not use. If you are not in my Facebook group and you want to be aware of when I am going to jump on and do a live class, I would recommend trying to join that. It's not hard to join. You just click on the link in my description. I don't think it'll be there right now. I will put it up later after the live class. And yeah, you can see when I'm gonna go live, maybe help decide what lovely class I do next, all that fun stuff. Anyway, my lovely students in the Facebook group did vote for hand weights and a stability ball today. Those were the two most popular. Everything I'm about to do, you can do without them, so no big deal if we don't have props today whatsoever. We'll probably do a little bit of Pilates, a little bit of stretching, so, you know, maybe a Pilates Yoga fusion class for today. Anyway, I am going to roll out my mat. I've already got it out, and we'll go ahead and get started. You can also have your water nearby to make sure you stay hydrated during class. And let's just begin in an easy seat, whatever that means for you. Maybe kneeling feels better. Maybe you want to come to a cross-legged seat like I do. That's totally fine. Just take a moment to arrive on your mat and close your eyes, checking in with your body. Wrap your abdominal muscles in. It's like your oblique muscles are pulling towards one another. And it's like you're trying to lift your rib cage away from your hips. Take a nice big inhale. Easy breath out. Dip your chin to your chest. Eyes can stay closed. You can flutter them open. Think about broadening across the chest, lifting the back of the head up a little higher. Take a nice full breath in. As you exhale, roll your right ear to right shoulder. Inhale, bring the chin back down. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Go ahead and let it return and just slide it side to side, slowly waking up the spine. Is this the first time you've moved today? Are we feeling a little stiff in one spot? Bring the chin to chest, pause, bring your gaze upright, take both hands high over the head and hold. Rotate the pinkies towards one another and lift an inch taller out of your waist. Maybe wiggle the fingertips, wrap the ribs in, take a big inhale. Drop your right hand down to the ground, lift your left hand higher, and then start to reach over towards the right. Open up across the chest, really fan open your left ribs, take a big inhale, push into your right hand to bring both high, and then same thing other side, drop one down, lift it up nice and high, and start to stretch over to your other side. Really stack one shoulder on top of the other. Maybe push your right sitting bone a little closer to the mat. Take a full breath. Bring yourself upright once more. Both hands lift high. Hands behind the head, elbows nice and wide. Push your head into your hands into your head. Take a big breath. Easy twist to the right. Inhale, bring yourself center. Easy twist to the left. Bring yourself center. Now drop your right elbow down and lift your left elbow high. It's like we're taking a little side stretch. Big inhale. Use your tummy muscles. Wrap the obliques in as you come on up. Same thing, other side. Really poke your elbow high. Press your opposite hip down. Big inhale. Exhale, come upright. Unravel, both hands lift high. Go ahead and wiggle out the fingers. Flip the palms, push them down to the ground. Let's come up to our hands and our knees, finding a little tabletop. Of course, you could come down to forearms if you prefer. If you have a blanket, you could put them beneath your knees if that feels better. And start to cat and cow. Round stretch. Just still waking up the body. Now, I have already taught 3 classes today. Yes, that's right. And so I have moved a little bit in my body, but I'm feeling quite stiff, quite tight in my hips today. And for me, when I am feeling tight in my hips, it feels really good to focus on my lower back and my pelvis. When I do a cat and a cow, I really arch and stick my tushy up to the sky, and then I really round, pointing my sitting bones down to the ground. Now go ahead and pause the center, broaden across the chest, lift the tummy in, and think about pushing the back of the head up to the sky, just so we can lengthen through our neck. Take a full big inhale, great big breath out. Wrap the ribs in, broaden across the chest. Keep that feeling as you now extend your right foot behind you, tucking the toes and pushing the heel back so we get a nice big stretch there through the back of the calf muscle. Take a full inhale. Exhale, pull the knee in. And then same thing other side. Push the foot back, push the heel away, lift the tummy, broaden across your chest. Great big inhale. Big deep breath out. And then come on back. Now one more time, let's reach our right foot out and pause. We're gonna take a little stretch here. If you want to, point your left toe behind you and then stack your shoulders one on top of the other. Our nice little gate pose, one of my favorite things to do. I really feel like someone is holding my wrist and they're physically pulling it up to the sky. I'm wrapping my tummy muscles in, and then I'm gonna reach my hand high over my head. Rotate your pinky inward and open up from your right hip to your ribs, through the body, out your fingers. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, start to circle your arm around. That can be as big or small of a circle as you like. For me, I kind of pretend like there's something heavy in the palm of my hand, and it's just gently pushing my hand down, back as low as I can. Hopefully you don't have flowers you run into, or even if you do, that's okay, flowers are nice. And then send your fingertips up, pause, wrap the tummy in again, take a breath, drop your hand down to the ground, gracefully or awkwardly, and extend your left foot behind you. Now this time I'm gonna point my toe behind me and take my hand high. Open up further across the chest, broaden there, send the fingertips up so high. Now maybe we just stay here and stretch, or again, we can take the hand high overhead, starting to grow long out your left side a little more, and then begin to circle the arm around. Does it feel good to keep that a little slower or to go faster? Do you want to go in the same direction the entire time or change it up? Make it go in a different direction. No hurry, no rush. Take the hand back overhead and then right back down to hands and knees. Find the tabletop, pull the navel in, broaden across the chest, and once more extend your right foot out behind you. Squeeze your thigh butt connection point. Wrap the tummy in. Grow long from the tip of your head through your body, out your toe. Take a big deep inhale. Exhale, pull knee to nose, round in. Inhale, extend head and toe away. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, reach out and away. 3 more. Exhale, curl in. Send it out. 2 more. Exhale, curl in. Send it out. Last one, pull it in. Reach it out and pause. Squeeze your thigh butt connection point. Push the back of your head further away. Take a nice big sip of air in. And as you exhale, set the knee down. Extend your opposite foot out and away. Notice what feels different from side to side. As I mentioned, my hips are feeling a little tight, so this side already, I kind of feel my left hip working a little bit more. It's nice to check in with your body in moments like that, just so you can know, maybe I need to make it a little smaller on this side. Maybe I'll do less reps. It's okay if things aren't perfectly even. Our body is not even, friends. Take a big inhale. Exhale, pull knee in. Inhale, reach out and away. Exhale, pull knee in. Inhale, reach out and away. 3 more. Exhale, bring it back and out. 2 more. Curl it in and out. Last one in. Reach it out, hold. Push away from the floor. Lift the back of your head up. Grow long from your head through your body. Out your toe, take a big sip of air in. Set the knee down. Open the knees wide and push back to a child's pose. Now, at first, you might just settle into your child's pose. You can let your forehead fall to the ground. I'm going to crawl my hands together, clasp them, and lightly push down into my elbows as I bring my hands to the back of my head or to the nape of my neck. That can be a nice little pec stretch and get underneath the armpits, maybe even into our triceps a little bit. You may try to crawl your elbows gently forward. That always feels and looks a little silly. That's okay. And then push your sternum closer to the mat to get a deeper stretch if you so choose. Full big inhale. Big breath out. Release the hands. Roll yourself up to a kneeling position. Go ahead and bring your inner thighs to touch. Hands to the tops of your thighs, shoulders back, head high. Really squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. Lift the belly button up and in. Inhale, hands lift high. Exhale, hands behind the head, elbows nice and wide. Take a great big breath. Twist to your right. Inhale, look forward. Twist to your left. Inhale, look forward. And relax. Now, we're going to rise to our knees, or I'm going to rise to my knees. If you're not in the mood today, you can stay in a seated position. You could even cross your legs. I'm actually going to turn to face you. Now, if we come up into our knees, one thing I want us to be very mindful of are our hips. And in fact, I will turn around just real quick so you can see. Now, if I'm not really thinking about it in a kneeling position, I might stick my booty back, kind of that Beyonce booty moment I talk about. But we want to think about pushing our pubic bone forward, and it's almost like we're trying to flatten out through the front of our hips. So you could even take your hands to the front of your hips and see if you can remove that crease. I am squeezing my thigh, wrapping my ribs in and lifting my head up a little higher so you can really find that space there. Again, you do not actually have to come up on your knees for this one. You can stay in a seated position if that feels better. It's a little more challenging when we're up on our knees. And it's very similar to some Pilates reformer work. Now, all we're going to do is hold a weight in one hand if we have it. If we don't have a weight, you'll just activate your arm. That's totally fine. But I want you to come up to your kneeling position, squeeze your thigh, think about pushing your hips forward, navel to spine, roll the shoulder back. And all we're going to do from here is start by reaching your hand lightly across. Now, don't reach it so far that we bend our elbow or it feels like we're caving our shoulder in. We want to wrap the shoulder blade back and just lightly push it over to the opposite side. Take a big inhale. As you exhale, carry the weight straight over to your right. And then inhale, bring it back to starting. Exhale, slide it across. Inhale, bring it back. Envision that your hand is sitting on a little ledge. I am not lifting and lowering the hand. I am simply trying to keep it in place. If you do not have the weight in your hand, that's okay. Just activate the arms. Pretend like you're holding something heavy. Envision there's peanut butter around you. It's so hard to push the hand through and pull it back. 3 more. Exhale, push it through, squeeze your thigh butt connection point, pull it back. 2 more. Exhale, push it across, bring it back in. Last time, push it across and pause. Hold right there. My palm is facing towards the ground even though I'm holding my little weight. I want yours to too, with or without the weight. Are you still reaching your pubic bone forward, pulling the navel in, wrapping the tummy in? Externally rotate the arm, so lift your palm and inner arm up to the sky, and then bring it back down. Rotate it up, rotate it back down to the ground. Can we stay stable? Can you lift your ears up a little higher? 2 more. Externally rotate, bring it back. Last time, externally rotate, bring it back, pause. Take a great big inhale, big breath out. Now from here, I want you to sink down to your heels. If you have it, touch your hip, and then swing your leg, rise back up. Squeeze your thigh butt connection point as you do. Inhale, sit yourself down. Exhale, move your entire pelvis up in one piece. Down we go. Exhale, cinch your waist, push the hand open. Inhale, down we go. Exhale, push it open. 3 more down. Exhale, swim it open. 2 more down. Exhale, swim it open. Last one down. Exhale, swim it open, pause. Take a great big breath. Exhale, set everything down on the ground. Wiggle, shake anything out you need to. Catch your weight in your opposite hand if you're choosing to do so. Once more, rise to your knees. Take a moment, push your pubic bone forward. Wrap the tummy in. Lift your rib cage away from your hips. Smile. We love our arm work. We love some nice glutes and thigh work. We're going to take our left hand forward and lightly cross it to the right. So it's almost like I just bring it in front of my right shoulder, not like I'm hinging it as far across as I physically could. I want my arm to stay long and straight. Before we go anywhere, think about your left shoulder blade. Is it falling away from the back of your body? Could you almost wrap the tip of your left shoulder blade closer to your spine? Now, what's happening in the opposite shoulder? Is it falling over? We want it to be even and level with the other. Cinch your waist, squeeze your thigh butt connection point, big inhale. Exhale, swim the hand open. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, push the hand open. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, push it open. Inhale, return. 3 more, exhale, push it open. Inhale, return. 2 more, slide it across the ledge with or without your weight. Envision that there's peanut butter around you. This time, push it open and pause. If you need to put a soft bend in your elbows, that's okay. Can you squeeze your thigh? Can you think about reaching both of your little front of your hip bones further forward? Rotate the palm so it's up to the sky. Rotate it down. Now that rotation comes way up high near our shoulder. It's more like your upper arm is doing more of the movement. Of course, your wrists, your hands are moving. But I'm really thinking about my inner arm kind of shining up to the sky and right back down. Shine the inner arm up to the sky, bring it right back down. 3 more. And 2. Last one, rotate it up, pause. Navel to spine, lift the ears higher, rotate it back. Now we're gonna do those little lowering lifts. And again, if we're not on our knees like I am, you would just move the arm instead. If you're still sitting just back down in an easy pose, that's totally fine. You just carry the hand down to your hip and right back up. If you're with me and you're lifting and lowering from the floor, each time you lift up, think about squeezing the thigh butt connection point, pushing your pubic bone gently forward, bringing it right back down. Exhale, cinch the waist, lift. Inhale, right back down. 3 more, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 2 more, exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Last one, lift and pause. Squeeze your thigh butt connection point, roll the shoulders back, head lifts high, take a big deep inhale. Let it go. Beautiful. Set your weights off to the side. If you have a stability ball, we're going to grab it. If you do not have a stability ball, you can 100% do this without. Take a seat on your mat. If you've got your ball, bring it to touch the back side of your body. I'm going to push it into my sacrum, that big bony plate at the base of my spine. And then I lean back into the ball and taking the hands behind my body. Food for thought, if you have slippery pants, sometimes the ball kind of goes rolling away, and that happens to me too, so it's okay. But as much as we can from here, I want you to think about crushing the ball with your sacrum. If you do not have the ball, same thing. We're back in that Pilates C curve, and I'm thinking about pushing my sacrum down towards the ground. With or without your ball, wrap the tummy muscle in and pull the navel to spine. I hear from a lot of my students it's hard to keep our feet touching or even pressing down. A couple of things. First and foremost, sometimes that has to do with hip mobility. Maybe we're a little tight somewhere down here, so it's a harder position for us to be in. That's okay. I find it easiest if you elevate your hips a little bit. You could try moving your feet away. You can actually do our Pilates C curve with straight legs. It's actually a little bit harder for most people, so that's why I typically do it with bent legs. But it's okay if our heels don't exactly touch down like I do. It's more about that grounding feeling. Oftentimes I also hear from people if they flex their feet and drive the heels down, it's easier to activate the hamstrings. What I don't want to happen though is cramping up through the front of the quads. Of course our legs are working, but this right here, it's an active pose. You should be working hard with me even while I'm talking right now. It's a feeling of pushing my sacrum down and of really using my abdominal muscles to keep my shoulders above the ball if I've got it. Now, with or without the ball behind you, or in our Pilates C-curve, we'll press our palms down to the ground, knit the ribs together a little bit more, reach your fingertips further away. Take a big, deep inhale. Big breath out. Inhale, slide your hands open to a great big T. Exhale, pop your ball. Pull the thumbs back together. Inhale, slide your hands open. Exhale, cinch your waist, pull it back in. Again, with or without the ball, it's a feeling of reaching your sacrum further back, of keeping your shoulders steady the entire time. I'm not moving through my upper body. 3 more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. 2 more, open. Exhale, close. Last one, open. Exhale, close, pause. Flip the palms so they're facing towards one another. Hug an imaginary present. It's really heavy. Give it a big squeeze. Turn on all your arm muscles. You could grab your weights if you wanted to actually feel the weight. You don't have to. We're going to make kind of a rainbow shape. Start with your hands up and think of this as the middle or the very top of your rainbow. You're going to take a big inhale. You're going to trace your rainbow and touch your hands down to the right. Now, as you do that, do you see I flip my palms? That's what we're doing here. And I didn't move my knees. So if our knees knocked together or fell to the side, you bring them back to that starting place. Take a big inhale. Exhale, bring it back to your top of your rainbow. Take a big inhale. Exhale, down and over to the other side. Pause. Again, look at your knees. Make sure they didn't move. Can you wrap the tummy in? Can you crush your ball or your imaginary ball? Big inhale. Exhale, back to center. Now we're just going to go a little faster. Inhale, prepare. Exhale to the right. Inhale, top of rainbow. Exhale to the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Let's do 2 more to each side, and you can go at your own pace, friend. You might go a little faster than me, a little slower than me. It's okay. Last set. Last one. Hands back to starting. Take a breath. Roll yourself up to a seat. Easy seat. You can open up your legs if you feel better with that. Hands behind the head, elbows nice and wide. Full big inhale. Twist to your right. Inhale, look forward. Twist to the left. Inhale, look forward. Let it go. Go ahead and move your ball off to the side. If you've got weights, I always like to set my ball on my weights. It's a nice little stand. And then lay yourself down into the mat. While we arrive here, you could take your hands over your head if you want to. Maybe do a few little pelvic tips, just kind of arching and rocking your low back down. And then heel toe your feet a little wider than your hips. Knock your knees together and take an easy windshield wiper of your legs side to side. If you get a few pops in your back or hips or knees, know that I do too. My body is very loud when I'm practicing. Oh, yeah, just got a bunch of pops there. And walk the feet back in. Take your hands by your sides. Notice if your shoulders start to curl up with our hands right by our hips. If so, move them away so you can encourage your chest to stay open. Can we immediately imprint the spine? It's that feeling of our low back touching down to the mat and our pubic bone almost pulling towards our belly button without actually lifting the hips. Wrap the shoulders back, point the nose to the sky, take a big inhale. Exhale, pick up your right leg. Now we're going to focus on moving the thigh. Our knee will move in space, but we're not bending and straightening at the knee. It stays still. Tap your toe down. Exhale, pick it up. As you tap it down, make sure that we're not arching the back. The minute that it feels like you arch your back to reach your foot further away, you just make your movement smaller so your low back can stay on the floor. Inhale, tap the foot down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, tap the foot down. Exhale, lift. Last one down, lift and pause. Hold right there. Reach your fingertips over your head, touch them together, slide them further away. Press down into the mat with your left foot. Almost pull your inner thighs towards one another, wrap the ribs in, and now inhale, send your hands high overhead. Exhale, pull them back to your starting place. Inhale, reach your hands high overhead. Exhale, tummy muscles work to pull it back. Inhale, reach the hands over. Exhale, return.
2 more, reach the hands overhead, exhale, return. Last one, pull it back, pause, and now we're gonna do hands and feet together. So toe and fingers away, exhale, bring it back. Inhale, toe and fingers away, exhale, bring it back. Only move so fast and so far open that we do not arch our back. 2 more, down and up. Last one, down and up, pause. Hands to the floor, right foot to the floor, left foot lifts. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Feel the shoulders connect to the ground. Feel your low tummy push into the mat. Tap the toe to the floor, exhale, pick it up. Tap the toe to the floor, exhale, pick it up. Notice if you are wiggle wobbling in your right knee. Can we keep it so still, so steady? Beautiful job. Inhale down, exhale, cinch and lift. Inhale down, exhale, cinch and lift. Last one down, lift, pause. Now engage the legs, feel the tummy work. Slide your fingertips up, touch them together. Hands overhead, exhale, pull it back. And of course our arms are moving, but really think about your oblique muscles, those side belly muscles wrapping towards one another. And it's almost that feeling of a big punch to the gut that pulls the fingers back to starting. Last time overhead, now add the leg in. Inhale away, exhale, return. Inhale away, exhale, return. 3 more. And 2. Last one. Bring it back, pause, take a breath. Set the foot down, set the hands down. Now, if you have a ball, we're going to put it between our inner thighs. If you have a block, you can put the block between your inner thighs, and that is perfectly fine. If you do not have either of those things, it's totally fine too. You'll just pretend like there's something between your inner thighs, or actually squeeze your inner thighs together. Now, take your hands further away from your body and actively push down into the mat. As you push the hands into the mat, did you feel your chest open? I hope you did. Now, even though we feel that chest nice and open, our ribs might have splayed. So keep that connection behind you, but at the same time, wrap the ribs in, wrap the obliques in. Give the ball a giant squeeze. If you don't have the ball, give your inner thighs a squeeze like you're holding a slip of paper between them. Take a big inhale, crush the ball a little bit more, pick up both legs. Inhale, feet down to the ground. Exhale, crush the ball, pick up both legs. Inhale, down, exhale, lift. Now, as you lift and lower, notice once more. Is your low back trying to arch? Is your belly button trying to poke up to the ceiling? If we feel like we're doming or coning out the tummy, that's when we really want to think about that belt kind of pulling everything in. That feeling of your low belly kind of reaching down towards your spine. 2 more. Exhale, pick it up. Lower down. Last one, lift, pause. Crush the ball, crush your block, or really hold that slip of paper right there. Take a big, deep, full inhale. Great big breath out. Give the ball an extra giant big squeeze. Now from here, listen carefully. My hips will lift away from the floor, but my shoulders will not. Let your knees fall to the right. And again, my left hip has moved away from the floor, but my left shoulder is staying connected. Take a big inhale. Squeeze the ball, pull yourself back to starting. Now, reach your knees over to the opposite side. Again, shoulders connected, hip is not big. Inhale, exhale, pull it back. We're going to go just a little bit faster. Inhale, right. Exhale, pull it center. Inhale, left. Exhale, pull it center. Now, this isn't a big sway from side to side. It's definitely a start and a stop at that center moment. Inhale, over. Exhale, cinch the waist, return. Inhale, over. Exhale, pull it back. Beautiful. 2 more. Over. Exhale, return. Over. Exhale, return. Last one. Bring it back. Pause. Hold right there. Crush the ball. Take a big breath. Big sigh out. Now a little bit different. We are again going to reach our knees over to the right, and as we come back to center, I'm actually going to drop my knees a little bit away from my body and then pull them up the center. So you can kind of think of this as making like a half circle with your knees. So over to the left, Drop them down and around. Exhale, come back up center. Inhale, right. Drop them down and around. Exhale, come back center. Now you might be able to go further than what I'm doing right now. You might be able to reach the toes all the way down to the ground like we did and pull them up. But that might arch our back a little bit. And it's less important to me how big of a circle we make, and more important that the minute that our hip returns to the floor, our spine is imprinted. Inhale to the right. Down and around, exhale, pull it center. Inhale to the left, down and around, exhale, pull it center. Last set, 1 to the right, down and around, trim your waist, pull it back. 1 to the left, down and around, exhale, pull it back, pause. Set your feet on the floor. Take the ball, move it out from between your legs. Open your feet wide, and again, knock the knees together. Maybe reach your hands high over your head. Take a nice big sway, side to side. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug, a squeeze, and circle the knees around in your ball and socket joint. Circle in the opposite direction. Give yourself a hug, a squeeze like a little ball, and let's rock all the way up to a nice, tall, seated position. From here, can we again come to our tabletop? We're going to get into a lunge. I am going to go through a downward facing dog to arrive there. If you are not in the mood for a downward facing dog, that's okay. Just step your right foot forward to a lunge. If you want to arrive in downward facing dog like me, I'm going to bend my knees and really shine my sitting bones up high, hugging my arms into my ears. Maybe you sway the hips a little. If you're choosing not to do downward dog, I would say maybe find your tabletop again. Maybe do some cat and cow, wiggling the hips, nodding the head, just like I'm doing here. If you're in your downward facing dog like I am, maybe bend the knees deeper, really push your sternum towards the top of the thighs. You might let your head dangle a little bit. Take a great big breath. Big sigh out. Let's step our right foot forward to a low lunge. If you need a hand to scoop your foot up there, that's okay. No big deal. Everybody's bodies are different. Also, if you have blocks and you want to use the blocks to get up right there, that's awesome too. Once we arrive in our great big lunge, usually take just a small sway or rock kind of side to side, settling into my lovely little lunge. And then I think about my pubic bone reaching forward towards my heel and my back heel trying to push down to the ground beneath me. Big deep breath, big sigh out. If we want to, you might touch your knee to the floor and untuck the toe. I usually press my foot into the top of my foot into the ground. And then hand to thigh, look over your shoulder for a great big twist. Maybe even lift your hand high for a nice big stretch. If that's not feeling good, don't take it, don't worry. And like we did at our tabletop earlier, maybe try circling your hand around. That can be as big or small as you want it to be. Reverse other direction. And then from here, see if you can bring your hand inside your foot and heel toe your leg open, so we're now in more of a lizard pose. Usually once we arrive here, for a lot of us, we're gonna have a little bit more room to push our entire pelvis gently forward. I am squeezing my thigh butt connection point. I'm making sure that the backside is working, and I'm hugging my knee into my elbow, just so my inner thigh is working hard. Full big inhale, big breath out. Another big inhale, big breath out. When you're ready, let that go. Bring both knees together. If you want to, again, tip into your downward facing dog. Maybe walk the feet a little further apart or closer together. Find something different. Find some movement in your body, a sway, a wiggle, a nod of the head. Feel free to move and groove at your own pace. And then as we feel ready, I want you to step your left foot forward, and again, make any modifications you need to, my friend. We do not have to look the same. Take a sway. Notice if one side feels oh so different than the other. That's always normal.
And then as you feel ready, we can drop our knee down. And again, I always push pressor into the top of my foot rather than my knee. That feels so much better to me. You can start to look over your left shoulder, maybe lift your left hand high, cinch your waist, and find any movement. Maybe on this side it feels better to keep that circle small or to keep it going in the same direction. And then lift it up, bring it on the inside edge of your thigh, heel toe the foot open. Maybe reach your pelvis a little further forward. Maybe hug your leg into your arm, push your arm into your leg. Big deep breath. Big sigh out. Another great big inhale. Big breath out. And then rock it back. Go ahead and sink back to a child's pose if you so choose. Let your head be heavy. Soften down. Full, big, deep inhale. Nice big breath out. And then we're going to come up to a tabletop one more time. And this is going to be easiest if you lay yourself right in the middle of your mat and your hands off your mat and your knees on your mat. And you will see why in just a moment. We are going to lift up our right leg. Now, I'm hoping that you can see me well enough, but I'm lifting up my right leg. I'm going to touch my right knee back on the outside edge of my left ankle, not up near my opposite knee, down by my ankle. And then I'm going to keep my legs still and walk my hands to the back side of the mat. If you now look down at your legs, they should look like a figure 4, just in a tabletop position. Once we've arrived here, take a moment and then push your hips to your left, and then push them lightly back towards the back edge of your mat. And then rise back up. Again, bump your hips to the left, and then push them lightly back. Now, I will admit, this is one of my very favorite stretches to do, and I'd love to tell you that I just discovered this and I found it, but actually a physical therapist gave this to me, I don't know, a few years ago when I injured my hip. Always good to do your due diligence and go see a professional. Funny story, when I told him I was a Pilates instructor, he asked why I'd come to see him, which I was like, I appreciate the vote of confidence, but I'm not a physical therapist, I'm just a Pilates instructor. Not just, but you know what I mean. Now go ahead and arrive center. Unravel the legs, that might feel a little wonky, that's okay. And then come back to your tabletop. Now this time we're going to lift up our left leg. I promise you, if you listen to me on the first side, it's your left leg you need to lift up, even though it feels like it's your right. Touch your left knee to the outside edge of your right ankle. Not the inside, the outside. And not up by the knee, down by the ankle. Now crawl your hands to the other side of the mat. Again, look down. Does it look like you're in a figure 4 shape? You have correctly gone the right way. This time, push your hips to the right and push them back. Rise back up. Push them over to the right and back. You might look a little different than me. It's totally fine if you're able to go further, closer to the ground, or you stay lightly lifted. Maybe you just hold here and really sink back. I always like to remind everyone when we get into these great big stretches, you can make all the ugly faces you want to, or all the silly noises. Eventually let that go. And one more time, let's come back down to our mat and arrive on the floor. Take a moment and decide where you want your legs to be. Maybe open them a little wider, bring them a little more narrow. Perhaps it would feel nice to lift up into a bridge for a moment, really squeezing your thigh and just shifting the front of your psoas, the front of your hips up to the sky, finding that open feeling there. Most of the time I talk about this as more of a Pilates bridge pose, but if you want more of a yoga bridge, you really want to wrap the shoulder blades towards one another, open up across your chest and push the hips up higher. You might even take the hands beneath your hips for a nice big, deep heart opening pose. If that's not feeling good for you, of course, we don't need to do it. Take a great big inhale. Big breath out.
Not gonna lie, this feels so good right now. I could probably hang out here for another like 10 or 15 breaths, but I won't make you stay here with me. You stay as long as you want to, and then slowly lower yourself down. Again, maybe try knocking the knees together, seeing how that feels. Begin to close your eyes, and then let's find a comfortable final resting position, wherever that might be for us today. Hands could be off to the side. You could have one on your heart, one on your stomach, both down on your hips, even over the head. But see if you can wiggle any tension out of you. Do your thighs feel a little tense, like you're still trying to hang on to a shape? Maybe give them a little shake, a little wiggle, and encourage those muscles to relax. They deserve a break after our lovely little class. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Big sigh out the mouth. Another great big inhale through the nose. Easy breath out the mouth. And simply relax the muscles in your face. Relax your jaw. Soften through your throat, your chest. Feel your breath move through your body. Remember, you can stay in your final resting pose for as long as you'd like. But eventually begin to wiggle your toes. Maybe stretch your hands overhead. Maybe pull your knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug, big squeeze. Circling the knees, sliding them side to side. Eventually rocking yourself up to a seat. Eyes can be opened or closed. Take a moment here to arrive. As always, give yourself a pat on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. Now, I am going to do something that I haven't done so far with my live classes and see if there are any questions. And I don't know how well I can go back and look. I can see that I have hello, C.S. Scott. Hello, what is that? Zabdi, nice to see you all. Sorry if I said anything incorrectly. I feel like there's a way for me to look at previous comments because I saw some coming in. That's okay. For future, if you have questions about the class that I'm doing live, or if you have questions or requests, I'm going to try at the end of the live classes to stay on and answer for a little bit of time. Again, this is new to me, so I realize not everyone's going to be live with me and can't, be here every time I am. But anyway, I just thought I would let you know that I will give you that opportunity to ask me something right here and now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our lovely class today. And if you are not in the Facebook group yet, I would say you should try and join so you can know when I'm about to go live. You get more of a heads up and you can help decide what kind of class we're going to do each day and get some other fun things. Anyway, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Can't wait to see you again. See you soon.